Welcome back. We have the mayor joining us on Midday today for his regular monthly appearance on the show. Ken Christian, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Susan.
Yes, Ken's going to be barbecuing this weekend, by the weekend, for the mothers in his life. Family get-together, a little barbecue.
Hope so.
Yeah, sounds really good. We've got a couple issues we're talking about. It was a busy day, first of all, on Tuesday at City Hall. Not only do you have your regular meeting, but there's all kinds of other stuff going on. Right.
I think council started really about 9 in the morning, and they didn't adjourn until 11 on Tuesday night. And kudos to Deputy Mayor Dieter Duty, because he did the public hearing. I actually wasn't there. I had to be in Kelowna, but it was a long public hearing, a lot of people out, a lot of interest in both the land issues that were discussed as well as the cannabis issue.
Okay, so why don't we just start with the cannabis issue. There it is. It's that pesky plant there that is bringing up a lot of headaches for City Council right now, because there's so much uncharted territory as we walk closer towards the legalization of cannabis. But what did you sort of come to terms with on Tuesday? I know that you guys are thinking about, or you have voted to relax the buffer zones around how close one dispensary can be to another. Is that right?
That's right. So the buffer zones from things like schools remains at 150 meters, but council decided that they would allow marijuana shops to be a little closer together, 100 meters. So that doesn't mean they're necessarily clustered, but it would allow more in the central business districts of both the Tranquil corridor as well as downtown. So, you know, that seemed to be a small compromise. I think the real concern here is that the federal government has said, yes, we're going to legalize marijuana, but they're slow to actually do it. And in that gap period, there's a whole bunch of entrepreneurs that want to get into it, people that want to grow it. There's a lot of people itching to get into the business, and it's not legal yet. So we're just putting the pieces in place that we have to as a city, so that when it does come, it's an orderly and legal response that looks after some of the social issues and access to kids and impaired driving, those kinds of things.
And I know RC have been active recently in shutting down a couple of shops, or at least one, just because they're sort of going about business, acting as though, in a way, is illegal, and it's not. So it's a very gray area right now.
Yeah, and the sooner that they can get on with, the issues about Bill C-45, get it through the Senate and then through the House of Commons, and then the provincial regulation in terms of taxation and the split, the happier that we'll be in Kamloops in terms of letting this roll out. You know, it works in Washington, it works in Colorado. There's no reason that it can't work here. We just want to make sure it's done in an orderly and good fashion.
Excellent. Next topic, MacArthur Island. Of course, the golf course has shut down now, and this is a great aerial view of MacArthur Island, such a great place. But some transition underway. It looks like the old golf course is going to transition into disc golf, and the Naturalist Club are going to perhaps share the area, share the space. Is that right?
Yeah, long discussion on Tuesday. We eventually decided that we would put a $35,000 into moving our satellite parks yard out to that site, as well as studying the potential combination of disc golf and a naturalized area there. And, a lot of people think that, those may not be compatible. And yet you look at other municipalities, particularly in the Lower Mainland, Burnaby and Vancouver, Coquitlam, they do have disc golf in nature parks, and it seems to work fairly well. And, a lot of concern about liability and people getting hit with discs and needing more nature space. But, I think the compromise that our parks planners are trying to work with seems to make some sense. And there is a need in the city for additional disc golf space, particularly at the entry level area and a flat course. So we'll see if that will work. We'll see if the two groups can come together. And by this time next year, we would hopefully have something out there.
Has money been allocated towards putting this together now? Because the vote has happened, is that right?
The vote has happened. It was a close vote, but it happened, and we've allocated $35,000. We've adjusted our financial plan, and that work in terms of our works yard out there will start right away. You know, we have a lot of maintenance that goes on at MacArthur Island. It doesn't stay that pristine and in such good condition by accident. So kudos to our parks people, and this will help them to be a bit more efficient in terms of the maintenance of that turf and that environment.
That's great. 1 minute left. Of course, we have to address flooding concerns. I know our news room has been covering flooding regularly on the evening news at 5 o'clock. Campbell Creek, Merritt, Lower Nicola, a lot of little creeks and rivers around our region are really seeing it right now. I don't know if you saw the footage of Grand Forks. Crazy times. The rivers here, South and North Thompson, are both over 100% of normal, but not drastic right now. Where does City Council stand on all of this? Yeah,
so we have had some flooding in the tributaries. So Campbell Creek in particular, Barnhart Vale Road's been a problem. And, you know, we're looking at Heffley Creek right now and some of the other ones. But the North and South Thompson will peak probably in early June. And there's a few factors, heat, rain, and when the two peaks meet, and that we're prepared for, but we're hoping that we don't see a combination of weather that will really exacerbate this situation.
Mother Nature always has the last say. We'll have to see how it comes along in the next few weeks, because as you said, it usually peaks around the beginning of June. So
just a caution for parents particular, keep your kids away from the river. It's a novelty, I know, even the tributaries, but they're dangerous. The banks are unstable, and that rushing water can cause a disaster. So let's be smart about this.
Absolutely. All right. Have a great Mother's Day weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. If you would like to reach out to Ken, you can do so by Twitter. His handle is right now on the screen. We're back after a quick break. Stay with us.